Hello, friends. This is Alia Jamal, the Heart Mentor, and today we are meeting for another Thursday workshop. And today we are going to talk about freedom in relationship. And this is one of those topics that is very near and dear to my heart. Um, this is the journey I have gone through multiple times, and I continue to go through in terms of releasing my previous marriage, going through a whole transformation of what it looks like to co-parent as in a friendly environment, and also to remarry and build a completely new relationship there, and also as the relationship with my family has transformed. So one of the few of the things that I'll be sharing in this are coming from pure personal experience and personal embodiment. So yes, you can read the attachment theory, you can read all kind of different books, how the relationships are made and how you can show up in there. But when we walk the path, there's some specific things that you will see that you can't really see in books. So I'll be sharing some of that too in this conversation. So let's just, let's dive in. One of the things that I do, I will say, have intention for anyone who watches it, for you to be able to truly feel freedom in your relationship, where you don't feel you're trapped in a relationship, whether it is an intimate relationship or whether it's a friendship, whether it's with your family, whether it's between you and your kids. Because whatever pain that we feel, whatever emotional pain we feel, it comes from relationships. It doesn't really come from, you're just sitting there, you don't do good at your work. It's how your boss or how your coworker communicated to you. That is where the pain lives. So when we are able to get to a place where I can feel free in a relationship, that is when life becomes so much more pleasant, peaceful, loving, and enjoyable. Every moment becomes more rich than when we are not very free in our relationship. So what really creates freedom in relationship? And that is when we stop betraying ourselves. What creates pain in relationship, or what creates confinement in a relationship, when we start betraying ourselves. Because what happens in a relationship when two people come together, whether it's siblings, whether it's parents, whether it's a loving partnership, when two people come together, we feel a sense of safety. And what that does, it creates that attachment. Now we want to hold on to it. Now, whenever we see there's a fear, I might lose this person, I might lose this relationship, what we do, we try to overcompensate and we try to save it. In that saving, we abandon ourselves. So, what we'll be doing in the first half of it, we'll be talking about the ways um, you abandon yourself, or the ways you can see you are acting in a relationship, have been, still are, and how can we change it. And at the end, I want to give you three questions that you can ask anytime when you feel triggered in a relationship, and you can come back to your center right away, where you'll stop betraying yourself and you will start to take control of how you direct the energy in that relationship. Because every moment is about energy. The more you become in control of, I would say, directing or managing that energy of the moment, and not just reacting to the moment, the more you feel in control of directing that energy, the more you will feel free in that relationship. So, first, let's start with, where are you in terms of how you relate to other people? And let's start with our attachment style. I have my notes up here. I have very detailed notes for today's workshop. I wanted to make sure I do, I can, oh, I just realized my mic is not attached. So that is interesting. Okay, it is attached. Never mind. That is me just getting distracted. Um, what is your attachment style? There's two that predominantly we talk about. What is anxious attachment style, and the other one is avoidant attachment style. So, what is anxious attachment style? That is when you are abandoning yourself. That any chance you feel that the other person is getting away. So this is how it's going to look like. Oh, I'm not available to meet at 5 p.m. And let's say you're only available at 5 p.m. Your next response would be, "Oh, so when are you available?" It's almost like you're going to clear your schedule completely to accommodate the other person. You're going to completely let go of what you want, what does your day look like, or it could feel like, well, I only want to eat pizza. Maybe you completely dislike pizza and you're going to make yourself uncomfortable, and maybe later on you're getting sick with being, lactose intolerance, but you'll go for that pizza because you're over accommodating. And as we move forward, you'll see where we meet halfway and where we completely abandon ourselves. Another one could be where you are so hyper vigilant to what's happening, what the other person feeling. Are they going to leave you? Are they going to stay with you? You're always constantly in fear. So whatever relationship is very near and dear to you, or whatever relationship you're experiencing pain in, see what is your attachment style. Now, most of the women who call themselves high achieving women or alpha or A type, I don't know, there's so many personality types out there that we talk about. I personally do not like labels. So they usually have the second attachment pattern, and that is avoidant. That is when we feel strong. That is we feel so independent. We don't need you. We got ourselves. That is also an attachment pattern. That is when we are putting some space between us and the other person. And if you have gone through betrayal, if you have gone through past relationship hurt, that is the go to place to be. And that is personally where I found myself when I got into another relationship. And I had to do a little deeper work to let myself be open to receiving love and not be so closed up. So, what that could look like is you're too afraid of losing yourself once again, so you're not going to let anyone come too close to you. You are going to emotionally withdraw when things get like, too cozy and too fuzzy. You're just going to move a little bit back in that relationship. So let's talk about family dynamics. So let's say all the siblings are coming together, everybody wants to have a party, and you're like, you know what? I'm an introvert. I don't want this. I personally like to question every single thing, every single behavior you have, every single label you use for yourself, every single thought you have, every single feeling you have. When you become super curious about your own inner world, that is when you discover who you really are. Most of us, we just wear different labels and we think that's who we are, but that is not who you are. It could also feel hyper independence, and that is something I'm still working through, feeling that emotional independence. I am good, I got myself, but that is also a way of avoiding pain. It's not fully opening. Being free in a relationship means your heart is wide open. You're not afraid of getting hurt. You're not afraid of things to get messy. You can walk into anything head on because you're so confident in who you are. You're so secure in who you are. And I can tell you from my own personal experience, it is such a beautiful way of um, building relationship, connecting with other people when there's no fear of either I'm going to abandon myself or the other person is going to abandon me. So one of the things, a few of the things that you can look within you, again, this is we are just evaluating where we are right now. When you are in a relationship, whether it's with your sister, whether it's with your husband, do you focus on, am I safe? Will I be left? Are they going to abandon me? Am I not going to be invited to that party? Like, when we have those thoughts that will I be invited or not, that is when you know that you're not free in that relationship. If you have thoughts like, um, are they going to control me? Are they going to overpower me? When you have thoughts like, oh, will I disappear? Do I have to change myself to be accepted? So when these thoughts come up, that is a telltale sign there's not a freedom in that relationship. That relationship is not fully healthy. And that is where you can take that and you can work through it. But if you don't even pay attention to what's going on in your mind and you're just going with the flow, you're stuck in your pattern, you're either, you know, clingy and attached, or you're just keeping distance from everyone. Why do we want to even, like, change all this? Why do we want to have freedom in our relationship? When two people can connect together without any agenda, the joy that comes from it and the fulfillment that comes from it, that is what light us up. That is why we are created to be in communities. Human are They live in communities. They don't live by themselves. That is our nature. That is how we are created. And when that union or that connection comes from a deeper place, it is so satisfying. It lights up your soul. It supports you. It pushes you to be more of you. And that is what I call it. That is when you get to live with an open heart. You don't need to feel contracted. You don't need to hide parts of you. You don't have to manipulate yourself or manipulate other people. And that is when you can really live and shine. And in my opinion, everyone um, everyone deserves to have that, but most importantly, make that your life goal. Make that goal that you get to experience life that way. I personally get to experience life that way, and I cannot tell you enough how beautiful this experience of being a human is compared to when I used to be stuck in all kind of attachment stuff. So now let's talk a little bit about what makes us abandon ourselves, because I think if anyone is watching this, I am the master of abandoning myself, and that is something I continue watching within me, because I come from a very deep pattern of abandonment. So that is something I continue watching within me. Am I still abandoning myself? Did I just leave myself behind? Because it does give us a lot of significance. It creates a lot of safety within us. The attachment theory, or whatever we when we look at the way we attach with other people, it all starts in very early years of our life. So in a very young age, when maybe you wanted attention and you didn't receive it, or nobody came to rescue you, eventually there is an unconscious decision is made, no one is coming. And if no one is coming, then I need to do something about it. And that is when we decide either I'm going to be too clingy or I'm going to be too distant. None of that is healthy. A healthy way of being is like a little kid who's playing, who's not concerned, who's with them or who's not with them. They're busy in their own world. Imagine living like that as an adult. And I continue to experience that here and there, and it is beautiful. So, self abandonment happen when we say no. I'm sorry, when we say yes while our body is saying no. So, to all the moms out there, when you're extremely tired and you cannot do one more thing, and someone comes and asks you to do something and you say yes, then watch what you say to yourself to convince yourself to that yes. That is where the work is. Usually, we label that love, my friend. That is not love. That is self abandonment. Unless there is an emergency situation, your kid is sick, and you really have to get up and take care of them. We're not talking about that. We are talking about general life scenarios. Anytime you say yes while your body is saying no, you're betraying yourself. And I have personally been in a position where I did that and I had to go undo it. And when I undid it, I lost a very important relationship to me. But I was not willing to lose myself because I have worked many, many years to find myself. Like if you lose yourself, that is the biggest loss you will have in your life because that is when you are signing up for a very, very anxious days and years and decades ahead of you. I was not willing to do that. But how I knew that I was doing it, my body was saying no, and yes was coming out of my mouth. I knew I'm betraying myself. So I went back and fixed it, restored my trust with myself, and lost our relationship in the process. Because again, one of my values, I'm not going to lose myself. And depending on what is your value, if you're here, if you're watching this, that means most likely that is your value as well. Another one is withholding truth to avoid conflict. When you rather keep the peace instead of saying what do you really want to say. Now, of course, there is going to be a way you're going to say what you want to say. You don't want to scream and yell and make other people feel wrong. But when we don't talk about the elephant in the room and we just want to shove everything under the rug because we want to keep peace, that is where the well of resentment builds. If this is happening in your marriage, that is a very dangerous thing that you're doing. Sit down with your spouse, let all out that is within you in the most calm, respectable way. Do not avoid saying the truth. It is not worth it. In the long term, it only creates chaos because you did not manage that energy. What you did, you just suppressed it. It's going to come out eventually, and usually it comes out in a very chaotic way. So if we don't want to go that route, then speak what is on your heart now. Did you notice I didn't say speak what's in your mind? I said speak what's in your heart. Heart is truth. Your mind are the lies that you have told yourself. Your mind might be saying, like, worst case scenario. Your heart might just want to say, you know what? I want the other person to know how I'm feeling. That's all. I'm not looking for anything. I just want to be heard. That's your heart. That is your truth. But your mind wants to make the other person feel wrong. That is not the truth. Because in any situation, it's not that one person is right and the other person is wrong. You both are right in your own situation and scenario. When two people come together and they communicate, that is when the truth of both people come out. And that is where clarity can come out. Now, you're not trying to avoid conflict. Now you're ready to face the conflict and work through it. So getting used to speaking the truth and not staying silent. That is how you stop betraying yourself. And again, that is something I did lost few relationships over that too. When we overfunction to feel needed, and that is directed to all the moms out there. Um, that is something I keep in front of me as well. When I am trying to overfunction as well, we are making everything from scratch. We want to look the best Instagram mom. We are, doing um, all kind of amazing things in our home. We are going organic and we are cooking everything from scratch. At the same time, we are building a business, or we are really advancing in our career. At the same time, we want to take care of our body, take care of everybody else's body. Deep down, there's a need to be needed, because there's a part of us that feels like if I am not needed, I'll be left behind, I'll be abandoned. So, next time you want to do anything, whether it's a new project, whether you want to introduce something, whether you want to lead a project, ask yourself, why am I doing it? One thing we always want to keep in front of us: are you rested? Are you well fed? Have you exercised? Have you had enough hydration? Are you feeling calm within you? So, we are going to pay attention to all those five things and then ask yourself, do I really want this extra thing in my plate? What part of me want this extra thing in my plate to feel needed? Or am I just, going in a different direction? For example, I'll just very quickly give you an example. About 3 months ago, I made a decision that my body is not going to have any kind of pain in 2026. Did a lot of deep work to work through the energy and the emotions and whatnot, but it also required us changing our cuisine completely. So now, if it takes me 30 minutes in the kitchen or an hour, it was going to take me 1.5 to 2 hours in a kitchen per meal. So that's a lot of extra time. Where else am I going to cut time? What else am I going to cut out so I can give myself this time to do this new thing? If I'm just dumping everything on myself, if I'm not asking for help, that is when I'm over functioning to feel needed. That is when I'm betraying myself. So we came up with a new system where things became organized, where I got help, where I am not the only person doing it. But that is where I was able to get in my systems, keeping in mind it is easy for me to betray myself. It is easy for me to take on things because deep down there's a desire to be needed. When we are aware of our own pattern, that is when we can switch them and we can change them. But it always starts with questioning. Why are you doing what you are doing? If you're the one taking care of all the things for your family, even like, for your parents and for your siblings and your own home, ask yourself this question: why? Where are you seeking control in this situation? Where are you not feeling free and the other people are not feeling free in this relationship either? Because freedom is for both parties involved, not just for you. Moving to the next one. Um, and again, another thing that comes in terms of withholding truth is when you silence your desires because you want to keep the peace. Now, maybe, everybody's talking about going on vacation and you did not say where you wanted to go because you just want, everybody to just get along. Oh, everybody wants to go to the beach. You'll go to the beach. Maybe you completely dislike beach. So being able to really speak out and not really caring about whether it is going to keep the peace or it's going to create conflict, speaking your truth of your heart. Again, not what you've been thinking. There's a big difference in the two. And if you don't know what the difference is, please reach out to me. I can help you through that. Um, and the next one is becoming the strong one. If you identify, I am a strong woman, I'm the strong one in this family. If you identify with that, I can already guarantee you, my friend, you betray yourself day in and day out. And you're not free in any of your relationships. Because this is what strong is: that here's my heart, and I have covered up my heart so I can face whatever comes in my way and never get hurt. That is what being strong seems like energetically. So I'm going to invite you to stop being strong. Just be yourself. Whether it's messy, whether it's vulnerable, whether it's you have to cry for 5 hours to just let it all out, who you truly are. If you're not trying to be the strong one, if you're not trying to watch your back all the time, who can you be then? What kind of relationship you'll have if you don't have to keep everyone on an arm's length from you, or if you don't have to carry for everyone? And I know these are deeper questions, and I know it requires just really sitting with yourself, going deeper, journaling, being outside. But today maybe could be, start of that, that thing, creating that reality where you're not the strong one, where you can truly be yourself, where you're free to be yourself. Now, going into how can you heal? I know if you're watching this, that means you're not really feeling free in your relationship. How can you heal this self abandonment in relationship? Because that is what truly makes us feel trapped in relationship, because we are either trying to be the strong one, we're trying to be the peacekeeper, we are trying to save everybody, but in the process we lose ourselves. So how do we bring ourselves back? How do we create that deeper connection with ourselves? So a few things I want to highlight is, before you even think of connecting with someone, let's say you just woke up and today you're going to meet a friend 9 a.m. for coffee or whatever. Or before you even, like, when you wake up, you're going to wake up your partner, you're going to wake up your kids. Before any of that happen, connect with yourself. It's not very difficult. Ask yourself, how are you feeling? What do you need? Those are my two favorite questions. And they are so simple, they're so powerful. When you ask yourself, how are you feeling? What do you need? When you ask yourself, how are you feeling? You feel seen by yourself. No one else has to do that for you. Everyone else is too busy to do that. And then you can ask yourself, what do you need? And then you can fulfill that need. Sometimes you might need your partner to give you a hug or your kid to give you a hug. Sometimes you might need someone else to bring you food. But if you don't ask yourself, you don't create that bond within yourself. So going back to when I did end up releasing that relationship, when I detected self-betrayal, I asked myself, how are you feeling? What do you need? I got the answer right away. It took me some time to implement that. About like 2, 3 weeks, it took me to implement that. But if I didn't ask myself that question, I'm just going to keep blaming other people. I'm just going to keep saying everybody else is making me feel miserable, but it's not them, my friend. It's me. It's you yourself. You make yourself feel miserable by not connecting with yourself. See, now when you're already connected with yourself, you know how you're feeling, you know what you need, you can connect with another person on a much deeper level because you're open. Your heart is open. Your heart doesn't feel like it needs to contract to protect itself because it knows that you are taking care of it. Very simple, but it brings a lot of freedom within you, around you, and in your relationships. The next one is um, asking, especially for those of us who like to keep to ourselves because we want to be the peacekeepers. We don't want to ruffle the feathers. Asking. Now, that asking could be, I need this from you. That asking could be, can you stop doing that? That asking could be, I'm out of here. I'm done with this. Asking is creating a boundary. It helps you feel safe when you speak up and you ask. The illusion is, I'm going to feel safe in this relationship because this person loves me. No, that is a complete illusion. I'm going to feel safe because there's something within me that knows I can articulate what I desire, what I want. I have the ability to communicate my inner to the people around me. So if something is bothering you, talk about it. If you need something from someone in your, like, in a relationship, whether it could be your partner, it could be your family members, you need something, ask for it. Ask for distance. I do that all the time. If I come into a corner and I'll just say, I need some distance. It could be a 20-minute is a really good time where you give yourself 20-minute pause to just calm and cool down. I even do it with my son who's 12 at this point. We've been doing it, I believe, for at least 5 to 6 years. If I get too heated up, we're in an argument, I tell him, I cannot talk about it right now. I need to come back to it. That is a boundary. That is an ask. When I put that ask out, I create trust within me. Now, I'm not betraying myself. Now, I'm not triggered. I'm not trying to be overprotective parent where I'm thinking all the worst case scenario. And this is the moment I need to, fix my child. When we bring that space, that creates safety in the relationship. Most importantly, it creates safety within you, not just within the other person. Another one is um, when we are in a conflict and we stay open and we don't close down. Because generally, what happens, let's say this person is saying something they have a grievance about you. And a natural thing to do is explain yourself or attack them back, uh, or just get extremely angry. But when someone is saying something to you and you just stay open, you don't need their validation, you don't need to make them feel wrong, you don't need to justify yourself, you don't need to explain yourself. You see how all those needs have been eliminated because you feel secure within yourself? That is when you can stay open and you can look at that person and you can also ask yourself at the same time, what am I feeling? What do I need? And as you're listening to them, you can give yourself, I'm feeling uncomfortable right now. Okay, why are you feeling uncomfortable right now? Oh, it's triggering this, it's triggering that, because it's all about you. It has nothing to do about the other person. What they are sharing with you has all to do within themselves. They are triggered by you because, something within them that is not resolved yet got activated. You're triggered because something within you that is not resolved yet got activated. So here's two people, two adults dealing with their own inner issues, but thinking it's the other person's problem. So when you can stay contained inside of you, you stay open. You don't attack, you don't feel offended, you don't try to explain, you don't try to justify, and most importantly, you don't judge yourself either. And you can meet the person where they are, and first you meet yourself where you are. Internally, you asking yourself, how am I feeling? What do I need? And it's very possible that right now you need space. You can tell them, hey, can we have the same conversation after 10 minutes, after 20 minutes, or when we get home? I do this all the time. In my partnership, when we come to a place where I'm not feeling really comfortable, I'll just say, can we talk about it later? Can we talk about it 20 minutes? And then I'm not using that as a strategy to avoid. I do come back and talk about it. But at that time, I am more secured within me. So these are the few things you can do to meet yourself where you are, to feel secure within yourself. So you're not attached and clingy and feeling suffocated in relationships. Now, there's three things I wanted to give you. Three things. If you learn nothing, just follow three things and you're going to feel amazing in your relationship. And first, let's talk about fear. A lot of lack of freedom in relationship comes from fear. Now, it could be your blood relationship, it could be the relationship we create in this world, it could be romantic relationship. We are so afraid of losing them. We are so afraid of being canceled. We are so afraid of not being invited. We are so afraid of other people are not, responding to our invitation. So remember this one spiritual principle. Whatever belongs to you would never leave you. And the other side is whatever doesn't belong to you, you can never hold on to it. I personally held on to something 5 years way too long. Um, the cycle had ended, but I clung to it for 5 years. Created a lot of pain, a lot of damage within me and the other person and the collective as well, because I didn't understand this principle. It does take time for us to understand if it belongs to me, it's not going anywhere. And if it's not mine, there's nothing I can do to hold on to it. There's nothing you can ever say that would keep the person in your life. If your energetical cycle has come to an end, it has come to an end. And that can happen in a friendship, that can happen with a sibling, that can happen in with your own child, that can happen in a romantic partnership. It can happen in any relationship. So always remember that, so you can keep this fear that tells you people are going to leave you alone, you're going to die alone, and nobody will be by your side. The more you focus on what belongs to me will always follow me. And I can tell you, my friend, if all of us can follow this principle, we'll find ourselves feeling so rich in our relationship. Because what will happen, we will let those go who are ready to leave. And we are going to invite so many more. If you're feeling a little isolated right now, what is happening? You're not releasing what is ready to leave. That's why what is ready to come in is not able to come, because you're occupying it um, by outdated energy. So that is one thing. Always keep that in front of you. And also asking the two question I was talking about, how I'm feeling right now and what do I need, but let's shift it a little bit. Ask yourself, when you feel suffocated in a relationship, why am I so hurt by this? When someone says something to you, when someone pokes at you, when someone taunts at you, when someone does like shady behavior towards you, it hurts. Why is it hurting? If it's hurting you, it's showing you something within you that is unresolved. Maybe so I will talk about myself. I had a deep need. It was very, very deep, many miles deep, to be liked by other people. And every time somebody didn't like me or they said something, they said something and it hurted me, that is the wound that was getting activated. And the next level of my existence wanted that wound to be healed. So, of course, a lot of people had issues with me, and I had to do the work and dig deeper with the help of my mentor to heal that need to be liked by others. So always ask yourself, why is it hurting so much? Don't justify it. Don't say, like, oh, of course, I'm a human and, look at their behavior, look how this person is behaving. Of course, it's going to hurt. And especially don't go to your girlfriend. Sometimes we do that and they'll just justify your pain and then you'll stay stuck in that pain for decades to come. Question yourself. My friend, you're such a powerful being that there's nothing that you cannot accomplish. You're so whole and so complete. But if you're not feeling whole in this moment, something is blocking your heart. We want to figure out what that is. And the only way you'll find it out is by questioning yourself. And the last thing we want to ask ourselves is, what do I need? What do I need in this relationship? What do I need in this moment? What do I need as a result of this argument or whatever is going on? When we start asking ourselves those questions, that is when we start to create freedom. And to wrap it all of this, I follow this one principle. If someone is not good for you and you're thinking, oh, they're not good for me, they're toxic, they're this, I'm gonna release them. Just remember, you're not good for them either. If their presence is suffocating you, most likely your presence is suffocating them either. So, whenever you want to create shifts in relationships, don't come from a place of they're not good for me, I'm going to let them, leave. Because we all are part of one whole. Nobody's separate from you. Yes, of course, our energetical journey sometimes comes to an end and people make a right and we make a left. When we keep in mind, if someone is not good for me, I'm not good for them either, then you can uncouple in whatever capacity from such a deep place of compassion and love, but most importantly, open heart. That is the most important piece. Because if your heart is closed, you're leaving a relationship and you're like, oh, they were not good for me, I'm out of here. You're going to leave with a closed heart because you're judging them. A closed heart means you are not going to have access to infinite abundance of your soul. And that abundance is health, wealth, love. all of that. So if you're in a place where you have realized, this relationship is not good for you, leave from a place. If they are not good for you, you're not good for them either. And that is how you walk away with a heart wide open. So with that, we are coming to a conclusion. I'm trusting that you have, walked away with some kind of gem and be able to create more freedom in your relationships. And if this is something that really feels uh, close to you, deep to your heart, and you want to do deeper work, you could always reach out to me. You can go to my website, aliajamalcoaching.com, and you can book a consultation. I would love to be your guide in coming home to yourself, unlocking your heart, unboxing your heart, and living as your endless self. I'm sending you so much love, and I'll see you next Thursday. Bye.